Hello and welcome. Welcome to this class, this webinar on for the new moon in Cancer and the solar eclipse. I'm really excited to share lots of information with you today, both from a logical, mental perspective, but equally allowing your body to absorb this information, your cells to absorb this information, your energy to absorb it. So it's not just sitting down taking notes. This is about allowing different words, different imagery to just bathe your system. So I really am excited. I hope you enjoy this session. Thank you so much for joining me today. So what I'm going to do is I'll share I've got a little slideshow that really just helps me stay on track so that I don't wander too far off into little tangents, but allows you to also perceive this energy from both a visual and from an audio-visual perspective as well. So firstly, just really take some time. Again, if you've read the class folder, I've got some information about setting up a little altar, a little sacred space. So just check in that you've got a few of your little items that allow you to ground and anchor all of this energy. Again, this is something that you can just allow to wash over you, but it will deeply activate something within you to awaken. That is what this time of the year is all about. So here is this one. So new moon in Cancer, solar eclipse. So this is the peak of the eclipse season. If you've been journeying with me the last 2 weeks and the next one in 2 weeks to come, we have 3 wonderful eclipses. So we have the lunar eclipse back in Sagittarius. This one, the annular solar eclipse with Cancer, and we'll close with another lunar eclipse in 2 weeks' time. And so this, we're in Capricorn. And so this is the peak. This is the middle of this wonderful energy that we get to play with. And I don't know about you, but it is full on exciting, buzzy kind of energy. Crazy, but amazing. So firstly, before I get into it, let's call in all of this incredible energy. So we open up our space, we call in the elements, our guides, and we invoke the energies of both Luna and Sol, the sun and the moon. If you normally drink cacao with me, or you drink cacao for your ceremonies, your solar and lunar ceremonies, please do so. If you have even a beautiful glass of water or a cup of herbal tea, take this time to hold your elixir, okay, sacred elixir, and use that as part of your offering to open up this space, all right? So take your beautiful sacred elixir. Allow yourself to breathe deeply. Perhaps closing your eyes, enter into a space within. And we start to invoke, opening this space, invoking each of the elements and the directions. With each breath, with each sip, calling upon each of the different elementals, directions, energies, and forces to surround and create this sacred circle now. As you breathe fully and deeply, we acknowledge the energy of the south. Opening up this space to the light of the south, to the fire element. Activate and awaken this sacred circle. Allow an infusion of light to fill and surround you now. Calling upon all of the light beings, the fire beings, the dragons, the angels, the ascended masters, gods and goddesses. Calling upon all of these wonderful energies of light, these galactic forces, to be with you now, holding the most illuminated space for presence, for activation, for awakening. Breathing deeply, taking another wonderful sip. We connect and call upon the energy of the West, water. We call upon this beautiful energy to flow through and around us with ease and grace, activating our DNA, our molecules of water within our body. The energetic principle of water that we are connected to on an emotional level. And as you drink and infuse these beautiful energies, allow the water element to bathe your entire system. Calling upon the beings of water, the dolphins, the whales, the mer people, all the incredible creatures that have existed in this beautiful planet of water long before we ever did. We call upon their beautiful wisdom to be gifted to us now and holding us in this sacred space. Taking another full deep breath, a sip of your elixir. We call upon and acknowledge the direction of the north, the element of earth. Acknowledging our physical vessel, our presence, the structures of our bodies. Anchoring ourselves into this present moment and calling forth our ancestors. Calling forth our lineage of both past, present, and future. And calling upon the elementals and beings of inner earth to hold us in a sacred space so that we may achieve and anchor all of this incredible divine and sovereign wisdom, anchoring it not just into our physical vessels, but also into this beautiful planet Earth that we exist upon. With another beautiful breath, a little sip of your elixir. Return to the east, calling upon the element of air, activating our perception, our ability to hear, to perceive, to listen, to acknowledge our higher mind. Beyond logic and rationalizing, we allow ourselves to absorb the highest wisdom of our higher mind that will be gifted to us in this sacred circle now. And we call upon the winged beings, the elementals of air, to cleanse and purify this beautiful sacred space, keeping the messages clear, the channel open. So we honor the presence of our mind to be the observer of now. Breathing fully and deeply, drawing all of these four elements, these four qualities into the center at your heart. Anchoring into your heart space. This is your center, the center of all. Feeling this beautiful connection to all things held within you. And as you breathe deeply, start to exhale, grounding this connection all the way down through the layers of your body, through your torso, your hips, your legs, your feet, ground down through the layers of the earth, connecting to the heart of Gaia. As you connect to the heart of Gaia, you plug in an anchor from your heart to her heart. You start to acknowledge that you are more than just the four elements that surround you. You are part of a deep channel of heart and soul connection. As you anchor and ground down, feel the warm embrace of Gaia. Perhaps envisioning a hug, a forehead to forehead connection to Gaia, the consciousness of Earth herself. And then start to inhale, breathe this beautiful, nourishing connection all the way up through the layers of the earth, her golden energy being drawn up with every breath you take, all the way up through your feet, your legs, your hips, up through your torso. Feel your heart explode with this beautiful heart-to-heart connection. Breathing, sipping your elixir, acknowledging this energy. Start to exhale. Feel this energy rise up from your heart, through your shoulders, your neck, all the way up through the back of your head, your face, reaching up above and beyond from your crown. Allow this energy to reach all the way up to Father Sky, out into the cosmos, to source creation of all that is. Allow this connection from your heart to connect to the heart of Source, aligning you with something greater than your perception. Acknowledging that Source energy channeled within your own heart. Feeling that warm embrace of light, creative life force, vitality, breathing this beautiful energy, intertwining it, weaving it all the way down, back in as it floods from the crown, pouring in and around you, flowing around you like a cloak, a warm embrace, all these beautiful codes of energy filtering through your entire system. Breathe it deeply into your heart, acknowledging this beautiful heart-to-heart connection, this wonderful channel of heart-loving energy from your heart to the Source, the heart of Source, to the heart of Gaia. You have this wonderful infinite loop of energy that unites you always. Your attention has just been brought to this wonderful heart connection. This is you in your sovereign divine being. Connected in this reality, in this moment in time, your energetic imprint connects you to a vast array of multitudes, energies, timelines, existences, awareness. You are all that is, but for this moment in time, you are here now. Your presence is here now. All of you is infused in this very moment now. We call upon a beautiful band of white light and a beautiful band of dark to surround this sacred space, holding us in divine balance and complete unity. Thank you. When you feel ready, slowly taking a full deep breath, opening your eyes, coming back into this space with this energy, with this awareness. So we take all of this awareness and we allow ourselves now to be infused with a multitude of learning, of opening our hearts, our mind, our eye to understanding this moment in time that we are getting to journey with. This particular lecture, this webinar, is targeted to 2020, to the summer solstice, new moon in Cancer, and solar eclipse. What a magical time. What a powerful, magnificent time that we are transiting through. This is the middle of 2020. I think it's safe to say, so far, it has been one hell of a year. And if anything, what this time in the middle of the year, this beautiful culmination of astrological alignment, what it reminds us to do is awaken, because this is just the peak. There are a few little visions that I want to share with you that relate to this moment in time. This is just the peak. Imagine that you're on a roller coaster, okay? You're on a roller coaster. It is clicking up, 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 up. I might have shared this a few other times before if you've heard it on Instagram as well, or my YouTube channel. This is a vision that came to me last year. And it was almost like a premonition, or I don't know what you even could consider it, but it was almost laughing, saying, oh, this has not even begun yet. And so that is exactly where we're at. We are clicking up. We are now sitting at the top, where you've been brought up to the top of that roller coaster, and you're looking over the edge, about to drop. That's where we're at. Because the unfolding of this year has just started. And the unfolding of that, of the wisdoms that are being shared with us, of the forces of energy, of change, of renewal that are being shared with us collectively, are only starting. And if anything, the hope is that so far it has awoken you to the point of going, okay, I'm on board. I'm ready. I'm journeying with this, and I'm going to do so wholeheartedly, without fear. And just embracing that journey. So let's start. I've got my water crystal, water quartz here with me. And so that's going to keep me kind of grounded on track to share this information with you. So let's start just basics. It's a new moon. The new moon is in Cancer. So this is the beginning of a new lunar cycle for the next 6 months. This time is all about intention. I think the new moon or the dark phase is often so overlooked, because it's like, oh yeah, intention, I don't think that's going to make a big difference. It's like, intention is everything. Energy is everything, and energy is intention. Action is energy, the intention, in motion. So intention is the most important part of the cycle. New cycle, new beginnings, plant those seeds. What is your intention for this time of the year? Personally, start with that. Just start with yourself first. It's so easy, particularly in a year like this where we're being expanded and pushed to awaken to the collective and to connect to the unity consciousness. Do not forget yourself. Do not neglect yourself and your own journey. Your journey, your personal, individual, unique journey, is pivotal to the collective. If you're not focusing, working, and doing the individual part of your journey, you're losing the bigger picture. You're losing yourself to the bigger picture. And therefore, you're not on that train. So focus on, firstly, your own personal intention. What are the seeds that you want to plant and see come to fruition in 6 months' time? Okay. And in 6 months' time, it's the 30th of December, 2020. We get to say adieu and farewell to this wonderful year of awakening. So really think long and hard about that intention. And don't put pressure on it, but just allow your heart to open up to what is that intention? What is it that you want to happen from now going forward? How do you want to embrace your own journey, your life, as you go forward on this wonderful path that we're being led on? So the lunar phase, new beginnings, blank page, unlimited possibility. Plant those seeds of intention. And so I would take this time around new moon to set a multitude of intentions. Look at all the different areas of your life. Journal them, write them down, put them on stickies. Like, allow yourself just to be infused in intention, in dream state, writing it down, putting little, side notes. Of course, from intention becomes goal planning and putting structure to it. But just start with, what is the seed? What is it? What is the essence of what it is that you want to see come to fruition in 6 months' time? The zodiac sign of Cancer, a wonderful, wonderful energy of Cancer is cardinal water. Okay, cardinal water is an outward energy. Cardinal, outward, versus if we just take Taurus, fixed energy, that was 2 seasons ago. Fixed is inward. And then if we've just come from Gemini, mutable, that's the interchangeable energy between internal and external. And so now, entering into Cancer, it's external, activation, responsive, putting something out there. When it comes to putting something out there in relation to water, it's putting out your emotions, putting out your feelings, understanding that you are an emotional being, an intuitive, instinctual being. Water, what does water relate to? It relates to our instincts, our feelings, our intuition. This is something that's coded in our cells. Our body is made up of water molecules, of cells that have coding in them. That's where we're getting all of our perceptions from. And now with Cancer season, it's like, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to take action upon? And so when we connect to the energy of Cancer, we all have the Cancerian energy within us. Those that are a sun or moon or rising or any of the personal planets in Cancer just are more aware of this archetype within themselves. Either you could perceive that as to an advantage or to a disadvantage because you're infused in it. It does not matter. This is a beautiful energy collectively to move through. It is a time to absorb yourself in your imagination, in your feelings, in really all that's in here, and then project it out. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with these guidance, emotional guidance that is constantly cropping up moment after moment? There is an emotion giving you feedback, asking you to take an action upon it. That is what the Cancer energy is asking. So when that arises, can you do so with such heightened awareness that you actually start to bring in to fruition a life that is in alignment with the DNA coding within you, with the instinctual energy that you have within you? That is what Cancer is asking you to do, the Cancer season. We got an opportunity to just be bathed in that sort of light. So really focus on activating that cellular DNA guidance. It's in you. And what's in you is different to the person beside you for a reason. Acknowledge that you're supposed to be different because your path is supposed to be different. Your light is supposed to shine your particular way so that when we all come on board, I always see it like a beautiful big circuit board. When we all come on board and you see this array of light, everyone is shining their light, their own shade, hue, tone, whatever it is. You shine your light in the best way you can to inspire others to do the same so that the entire board lights up, the entire body lights up with an awakened light so that we move and we shift into this new era. That last part is hard to stomach, but I will get to, okay? And so that is what we're here, this expressive emotion, Cancer, new moon. Set the intentions surrounding that sort of energetic quality or that archetype, okay? And again, think forward to 6 months' time. You've got December 30th, 2020. Ooh, what will have come full cycle for you? What will come full bloom for you at that time of the year? I put down some intentions there to use as a guide. It's always really good to write your intentions from your heart. I will also admit that when I was starting out writing intentions, it was always easier to use someone else's and to use that as my baseline. But in time, when you get used to writing intentions and really understanding that these intentions are actually already within you, then you'll be writing them by yourself. And it's very empowering to find those intentions. Really, they're already there. Find those intentions within, write them out, take action upon them. And so the intentions for this Cancer new moon: I am creative life force. I am creative life force. That is essentially what Cancer energy is. So I am creative life force. Really, really wonderful one to use. I honor that my emotions guide my life's journey. I honor that my emotions guide my life's journey. If you think of your life as just like a lovely path that you get to navigate through, your emotions are the signposts that pop up to tell you, oh, take a left at the fork, or go straight, or hey, do a U-E. Go back, we need to redo this bit. Your emotions are what should be guiding you at all times. It's an instinct, it's a gut feeling. Okay. So then into the eclipse, eclipse season. So a little bit of this has been covered in the lunar eclipse that we had with Sagittarius 2 weeks ago. Firstly, astronomically, what it is the annular solar eclipse happens when the moon covers the sun's center, and it leaves this little ring of fire, this visible ring of light around it. And so that is where you get the name the annular solar eclipse. The esoteric meaning of an eclipse, and it is, you know, by far one of the most powerful and important astronomical events that we perceive here on Earth. It's a pretty spectacular time when both of the lights, the two big lights in our sky, the sun and the moon, eclipse each other. It's pretty incredible. And so the esoteric meaning of this is that the sun is infused by the moon. The yin light is now crowned. This internal force is being crowned sovereign, united. The yin and the yang unite, divine union. And the feminine is held by the masculine. The feminine, the power, the creative force that you are, it's an invisible force, is enlightened by the yang force, the activating force, the protecting force, your physical. And so this beautiful alignment of this internal and external force is really where you allow the ego to be overshadowed by the spirits, by the force of all that you are. Okay, and oftentimes we forget that. That's what we are, this invisible divine force. We forget it because we get caught up in life, in the day, in the light. And so when we stop and have an eclipse where the moon comes in front, the moon is let's just go symbolically, the moon is representing our inner force. The sun is representing our outer force. And so when the moon eclipse in front of the sun, you're getting this opportunity to quieten the ego, to quieten that active need to be, so involved with our entrapments of life. And this wonderful force of all that we are steps forward and goes, hey, this is actually what we're here to do. And so it's a beautiful awakening moment, a reminder of, hey, this is what you're here to do. And it happens during the day. It happens when the sun is awakening. And so this year, I haven't got the times right in front. Maybe I have them lower. I'm pretty sure it's around 7:30 Irish time, Irish, Portuguese, English time. I have that definitely in the folder so that you can check it out. But this is a wonderful time where we quieten that yang extroverted energy, and we allow the yin introverted energy to step forward as prime position. And it just infuses beautiful, beautiful unity and balance within ourselves, within ourself. So that's what the annular solar eclipse is, and it's flanked by two prenumbral lunar eclipses this year. So we had one 2 weeks ago and one 2 weeks to come. And so that is what is called a gateway of energy, okay? And it just means that we're getting full whammy, like constant alterations of that yin and yang energy that play within us. It's like, it's just heightened during this time. I think you can probably feel that. In one way, shape, or form, our world has been rocked, and this year, and equally a lot in the last 2 weeks. So I wonder what the next 2 weeks have in store for us. So solar eclipse, Cancer, summer solstice, the astrological insight of this time. So if you are accessing this class, I have given you a code to access the summer solstice class. It's just a generalized class talking about summer solstice, so the time of year. It happens every year. It's one of the 8 festivals of the year. So use that code to access that particular video, that class, and a guided meditation for the summer solstice energy as well. And so summer solstice is a time where the sun enters into 0 degrees of Cancer, and then the new moon in Cancer happens when the moon and the sun align. Is also happening in 0 degrees, but it happens like, I think it's like maybe 10 hours later. And that's when the solar eclipse happens at the new moon. So they are, if anything, especially if you're based in Ireland, England, Portugal, Europe, this side of the world, it's happening that the solstice happens at nighttime on the Saturday. And then the next morning, we have the solar eclipse. And so what's lovely is you get a whole night to celebrate and infuse yourself with these heightened energies. So I would like clear the diary for Saturday and make sure you're doing something that is in alignment with receiving and celebrating this wonderful energy. in the class, I also, for the solstice, I recommend that, you know, look out for classes, for festivals where they, midsummer festivals, parties where you are dancing around a bonfire and being active, because that is a really wonderful part of the energy of the summer solstice, is to be active and to be in celebratory mode. If you have children like me and you won't be going out, or you prefer to celebrate and honor in a more sacred space at home, I would definitely sit in sacred space, you know, with candles, little fairy lights perhaps, and just allow yourself to be bathed by this wonderful energy through dream time, and rise in the morning for the solar eclipse. Sit with, you know, if you can, watch the sunrise, do that, and yeah, do something to mark this occasion. You know, on Instagram, I'll share little bits about sharing and celebrating with kids, but equally little things that you can do to just honor and celebrate this yourself. And a lot of that is, the symbolic reference is in that summer solstice class, so check that out. So for this, we've got the moon is reflecting the light of soul in Cancer, emphasizing this life-giving opportunity to awaken and celebrate and illuminate to our fullest potential. Okay, so the way I see this, particularly because of this time of year, this particular year, this is specific to 2020, to the times that we're shifting in, both in the guise of the Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter that's playing out all year. And, you know, Venus is still in her retrograde mode. If you've taken the Venus class as well, that's there, and it gives you great insight as to what is being awoken at this moment in time, what is rising. The light bearer is rising. This is an incredible time. And we're in a gateway of the eclipses. So yeah, this is, like I said, this is buzzy. I'm feeling this very much in my cells as exciting. There are moments when it's exciting. There are moments when this is overwhelming. That's Cancer. That's the emotion. That's that ability to say, whoa, I'm feeling it all. What am I going to do about it? Okay. So what are you going to do about it? When you feel everything, stop and break it down. And just get really connected to your body. Because within your body, you have a wonderful structure of cells. And these cells are of water nature. And within these cells, they are coated with light, okay, DNA, with a vital life-giving force, coated within your watery cells, housed within your physical structure. And you are the observer of this, okay? The higher mind observing all of this. So when you connect to that incredible potential that you have within you, you use this time, you align yourself as above, so below. You align yourself with this time to activate the highest potential of your DNA coding, okay? And so I'm obviously going way more into the ascension and esoteric languaging of this. But this is where we start to activate something that is beyond what we perceive. Or maybe you already perceive this and you're like fully awakened and you're looking around going, I know the game, whatever. Wherever you are, asleep, waking up, already awoken, this is the time, whether you know it or not, whether you feel it or not, whether you comprehend what you're doing, take a moment to align with the sun. What the sun is doing is a replication of what the light within you is doing. It is being awoken. It is coming to its full bloom, full peak. That's what solstice, that's what the summer solstice is. We're at the longest day of the year, full peak of light. And so when this beautiful light is being highly activated, we think about what that is within us. So that's our DNA. That's our light coding. That's our source energy. We are source, embodied. This source energy is being activated multiple times this year. It's being transformed, reformed, infused with our highest potential, our higher mind, our divine mind. This is languaging that connects to Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Venus. I've spoken about this in all those other classes. So if you've been with me, you get that. This is the time where we are allowing ourselves to consciously align with this source energy that is reforming, awakening. And then from this point of reform and awakening, we allow ourselves to embody that incredible crystalline divinity within ourselves. We allow it to radiate within ourselves, whichever. And when you allow it to radiate within yourselves, this burst of light that comes out from you starts to shine a light onto the easiest path for your ascension, for your awakening. Ascension is simply just an alteration of your perception. Okay? You're not going to beam off here. Ascension is an awakening of your perception. You start to see how connected everything is. You look at things with fresh eyes. You start to see that you feel, see, feel, know, all of your senses align. And you become so aware of the wonderful game that you're participating in and how you can engage with this incredible life, this force of life that is playing in this moment in time. That is ascension, that is awakening, okay? And so you're taking this energy that is being highlighted at the solar eclipse, the solstice. You're taking this energy and infusing it within your cells through your altar space. That's just a physical representation allowing you to make a space, make a sacred space so that you can acknowledge what you're doing. If you happen to just sit out in nature with absolutely nothing at all but yourself, that's all you need. You have all 4 elements, 5 elements within you. You have complete conscious awareness. You don't need a phone. You don't need music. Everything is within you when you align with this time. Because that is what it is asking you to remember. Everything is within you, in your cells. That light, that massive, powerful source, God, creator light is you. And that's pretty cool. And that's not an ego thing. That's an empowering thing. That's an empowering thing that all of your cells are craving. Your entire body wants to be, the thirst of that wants to be quenched. This is a time when that water filled with life source wants to be replenished into your cells. And so a question to ask would be, how can I sustain life? Your life, your creative force. The creative force all around you that you connect to with each and every person, that you connect to with plants, with animals, with creatures, with unseens. So your guides, your angels, your galactic star families. How do you sustain life? And sustain life within your body and on this planet? And within this cosmic play, you awaken this light force within you. And so Cancer reminds us, this cardinal water energy reminds us to feel into the gut, okay? The waters within ourselves, both the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra are being activated now. It's a creative force. It's a empowering, connecting force. So if you think of the solar plexus, you're connecting. This is where you make all of these energetic connections to people, to society, to your egoic attachments. Sacral chakra is your creative, passionate, life-giving force. What projects are you bringing to life? What things are you creating and sharing and offering? What creative things are you interfacing with? What courses, classes, people, things that you are engaging with that are feeding you with life? And so it's a very nurturing time, a time to support yourself. And so that could be, you might perceive that as really supporting your diet, your sleep, sustaining and supporting your physical well-being. It could be connecting, sustaining, and supporting your tribe, being an activist and supporting others, holding up and being a voice, being a projection of energy for others. You know, there's no right or wrong way of being an awakened being. One person's way of being an awakened being is going to be very different to the next. There's no judgment. Oh, you're not doing it the right way. Who are you to judge? That person is awakening and walking their path because they see their path. You don't see their path, you see your path. And when you start to realize that, you start to see how the paths cross and weave. And this beautiful energy starts to create this tapestry that we are now anchoring down here in this reality, in this physical reality. And not just this tapestry of energy that has almost been perceived outside of ourselves. We are bringing it into this physical reality to awaken our human DNA, to awaken our consciousness now. And so know and acknowledge that you have this wonderful, tough exterior. Your physical body is your tough exterior. It's the armor. But you know what? That armor shouldn't be weighing you down. It should be lifting you up, supporting you. And your heart is just beaming open. This wonderful connection point to everything. And your heart isn't afraid. That soft tenderness that's within you isn't afraid because it knows that your body is supporting you. It knows that your yang force is going to do whatever it can within its power to achieve and sustain the life that you are. And so this eclipse gateway and this activation of our sovereign DNA, again, understanding the vision of the roller coaster. I have one other to share with you. Understanding that this is a wild ride, a game. It's also funny, okay? It's something that you can laugh at in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not diminishing how crazy these times have been and how heavy the emotion has been. I've been on the floor in tears it's so emotional, and it's purging from such depth. It's not just reflective of this current lifetime. It's something that spans time. And you feel it. And if you feel it, express it. It doesn't have to be publicly posted, but express it. Cry it out, shout it out, draw it out, dance it out. Express it. Because then you're acknowledging this wonderful life force that you were connected to. And you're not honoring one emotion over the other. Emotion is emotion. It's energy in motion. This perception that certain emotions, dark emotions, are negative is so backward. It actually holds you in the negative emotion. Emotion is energy. One doesn't trump the other. Sad and happy go hand in hand. If you didn't experience sadness, you'd never truly understand what joy is. You have to have one without the other. We tend to favor the warmth, the light, the jovial, the fun. We favor it, yes. Why not? But that doesn't mean that we don't feel and honor what the opposite, what the jewel, what the other half gives us. And perhaps that honoring and celebration of sadness isn't something that we do outwardly, because no, that's a yin energy. And so a yin energy, then it has to be absorbed. It's reflective. So they each have their own purpose. I'm not saying, oh yay, have a party, you're sad, you're depressed. Obviously not. But let that energy infuse in you. It teaches you something. It's a guiding signpost on your path. Be with that energy so it leads you to another. That energy is going to lead you to another. And so on. And all of a sudden you've got this wonderful trail of your light force weaving and creating the life that it is. Now, what it has been, what it will be. If you see in color, if you see in light, and I mean energetic light, invisible force, the most magnificent patterns of energy spiral around you at all times. Acknowledge that. Be with that. Move with that. You are awakening to that energetic force that you are. We are collectively awakening to this energetic force that we are as a united consciousness. A united consciousness doesn't mean that we all have to think and feel and be the exact same at the exact same time. It means we move as one beautiful rainbow of all the shades of light. And when we start to acknowledge the symbolic and metaphoric wording that I'm using, you really start to feel empowered by you being a sovereign, enlightened being. And so this golden, sovereign, crystalline being that is being awakened, particularly this year, for a large wave of people. Acknowledge the golden, come up with your own words, okay? Make it your own. Acknowledge the golden, sovereign, divine, crystalline, Christed, awakened, illuminated essence that you are. Acknowledge the source energy that you are. Because when you do, it will send a ripple out along the grids, the light grids that we are all connected to. And we all feel it. On some cellular level, we all feel when others start to awaken. It alters, it brings the whole grid up a bit. The more and more people that wake up, the grid starts to rise. The grid of consciousness starts to rise. And you start to acknowledge how much you're connected to. And your perception is rising. You are ascending because more are ascending. Because the grid is rising. Consciousness is awakening. Start with your own consciousness and honor that. So yeah, these eclipses are some of the most amazing astrological events that we get to play with. They really do mark major beginnings and endings. And it's not to say that this is the end or the beginning. It is part of the journey of a shift of consciousness, bringing in a new era. Another vision that I wanted to share with you. I shared the roller coaster. And that was kind of one that was kind of thrilling. And I didn't comprehend last year when I got it, really what it meant, until I was reminded of it a few weeks ago in meditation. I was like, oh, right. Yeah. And it is really just about to start zipping us through the loops that shed us of the veils that are held over our perception. And the more of those that we loop through and zip through, those layers and those veils are peeled back and we start to awaken. The chess game, again, this happened last summer solstice, 2019. And for me, it was the beginning of embodiment, of my embodiment experience, that only in hindsight I comprehend now as the beginning of my embodiment experience. I had just come from a beach ceremony for the summer solstice, and I just pulled over and took a few moments to watch the sun go down before I had to head back to my son. And I sat in the car and I just allowed my eyes to close for a moment, and whatever visions come forward. And this particular one with the chess game, it was weird, and I've shared it on YouTube and a few other places before. This character, this character was climbing up onto, just climbing up, and eventually the platform that it reached ended up being like a chess board, like a checkerboard, and it had different color, the two different colored squares. It was actually black and red, but black and white, whatever. This chessboard, and it got up on this, character got up onto the board, and it clambered up onto the board, and over at one side of the board were like a bunch of cloaked darker characters. And this character, the character that I was aware of, stood and was kind of like, hello, where am I, firstly? And then kind of, was not knocking, but, kind of gently making her presence aware. And the others, the group, just looked over and was like, and thought nothing of her. A real disregard, very much aware of who she was, but total disregard. And so this really sparked a little bit of infuriation within me, that I was kind of like, okay, I almost never, not that I'd never had visions that were so abrupt like that, but it was a strange mistreatment that I felt rising within me. And it caused an awakening of sorts, that the character realized what was going on, that this was her playing field. This was her board, her chess board, whatever, her game. And that the players, these other characters, we're absolutely disregarding her as the creator of this game. And that all these other entities, these characters, like, it's okay. We've taken over. We're doing this game ourselves. You left, you were not here, whatever, whatever, whatever. And what this caused was for her to turn around and go, well, I'm here now. And I'm aware of what's happened to my game and my creation. And with that, she stamped her foot down on the board. And all of a sudden, these characters turned into essentially what looked like pawns of a chess game. And so they rocked on the board. And they weren't so much personified beings. They were just like pieces that you heard jolt onto this chessboard. And this was such a short vision for me, but what it emphasized was the recognition of you as the commander of your own life, of you taking control, that this is your life and it's up to you to play the game and to be in command of all the players on your game, on your board. And so that was the beginning of the embodiment process. The embodiment process I've talked about before, but that didn't happen until end of September 2019 for me. But that was the beginning of that golden body embodiment. That was the first vision of her, and she stood up onto that chessboard, that game board, and she commanded presence. And then recently, I was reminded of this same vision. This is what happens. These things come and go. Even though I remember them vividly, linking them to things is always wonderful in hindsight. And so recently in a meditation, this reminder of the board, of her, stamping her feet down onto this chessboard and everything rocking, it did cause chaos, rebellion, and resistance. But she has regained some sort of order on her chessboard, okay? Again, symbolic, metaphoric languaging. She has regained and reconfigured how it's supposed to be laid out, how the pieces are now laid out. And I know how to play chess, but they did not look like they were laid out in a chess game formation. What they ended up forming was she, in the most recent vision, she was this being that stood in the center. And then they formed, the pieces formed, I suppose, like an oval, an eye shape around her, okay? And it was essentially an eye. She was in the center, and they radiated out around her, but in a kind of a eye, almond shape. And what that symbolically represented to me was that she was now awakened to the game and in control of the perception of this play, this game. And so I share these images because this is what's playing out collectively. We all personally have our own versions of how that interfaces with us, but as a collective, obviously I'm sharing this as a class for the collective, so I'm going to share the perception interpretation for the collective. And so what that really is that the rules of the game are shifting. The scales have tipped and power is coming back into the original creator, and that the players that took control of something faced a lot of resistance, caused a lot of trouble, a lot of hardship, but she reformed. She found a beautiful shape, a beautiful pattern, and she reconfigured it so that the game found balance so that unity of all players and creator was formed. And so that this allowed for greater perception, greater awakening, and for, you know, the play of life to unfold, to be seen for what it should be seen as. And this has already happened. You know, light and sound, they play at such a different frequency to our physical vessels, to what our physical vessels can perceive. You know, we don't even comprehend it. We can pretend we comprehend it because we've read and understood some astrophysics and, you know, all that science side of things. You can say, oh yes, well, I comprehend it, or I understand that concept, but we still don't actually get it. Our physical bodies have not caught up to this timeline. They haven't caught up to how this energetic interface has already played out. But it's already happened, so then it's just a matter of our awareness of time and it filtering into us. And whether we want to resist it or whether we want to move with it. And that's what we get to play with at this moment in time. That's what we're engaging with at this moment in time. Okay. Let's take a nice big deep breath. It's always nice to have that reminder. And to feel the DNA activation now. To embrace it, to invite it. To acknowledge that this DNA activation is happening now. This unified presence is happening now within you, now. So those of you that have done other embodiments and astrological readings with me, or if you know your chart yourselves, check out where 0 degrees Cancer lands in your chart. What this will do is allow you to comprehend what is being specifically triggered. It's not necessary. Know that you are being triggered by this. But if you're, you know, if you're a lot more aware and wanting to kind of play with the specifics of what is being triggered, find 0 degrees Cancer on your chart. See if that's, you know, in conjunction with any planets or opposing certain celestial bodies, and that will just really give you a greater level of perception to what is going on for you at the moment. Or give me an email, a shout, and we will organize an astro soul reading. Another little quote, I radiate my light. I am sovereign. Okay. Really, really important during Cancer season to radiate your light. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine in you. Okay, this isn't just about the sun up in the sky. This is about the sun inside of you, the solar energy within you, within your cells, the source energy within your cells. You are a sovereign being right now. Awaken to that. And then I've edited this wonderful decree from Sandra Walter. Highly recommend you check her out. She's really at the forefront of guiding starseeds and embodiers with this awakening process. And so this wonderful decree goes, I am all that I am. I welcome in and forth my higher self, Christ itself, Almighty I Am presence, angelic levels, master levels, galactic levels, and all of my divine aspects across all parallel realities, seen and unseen. Unify in this moment now. I project my divine infinite self, the pure essence of Source I am. So thank you. Thank you so much for enjoying and listening and sitting with me as I share this information, this energy, this audiovisual information through the PowerPoint and through my voice and through the words, anything that kind of filtrated into your system. Thank you. Thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you for allowing me this space to share with you. If you'd like to connect with me further, please email me, Danielle at 12thspace.com. Join my newsletter. That will give you kind of instant access into your inbox about any of the online classes through my Ascension school, or any of the offerings I'm doing with astrology, cacao mentorship, or in-person events that you want to get involved in. Instagram is at 12th Space. And YouTube, Danielle Donnelly Smith. So check out that. All the links are on my website as well. Check it out, please. Upcoming events. So we've got the full moon eclipse coming up the 3rd of July. It's on the 5th of July, but I think I'm doing the event on the 5th. I'm almost certain. But that will be updated on my website, and it's already up there anyway. 20th of July will be a new moon. I'm hoping to, at that stage, you know, I'll be in London, and I'm hoping to do an in-person event. So keep eyes and ears open for those upcoming events in London. Also planning to do a planetary embodiment. This is a really wonderful experience so that you get to embody a planet, an archetype, an energy, and you get to really absorb what that is inside of you. So check those events. They're coming up soon over the next month or two. The courses that I'm offering as well, you know, my astro energy coaching has opened up now that quarantine is over. So that's opened back up, kind of fully booked, but taking a few towards the end of July. If you want to connect with me, send me an email. I'm always doing the cacao mentorship. If you need a top up of your cacao supply, let me know. Or if you need just a mentorship call, give me a text. Intuitive soul readings. So this kind of combines a bit of everything that I offer. And we can do these online or in person if you're based in London, or when I'm in Dublin. I will be letting you guys know when I'm there. I've also got the Empowered Pregnancy, Motherhood and Birth course starting in July. So that, keep an eye out for those. If you know of anyone who's pregnant or going through pregnancy, this is a really great culmination of pregnancy yoga, active birth, and spiritual embodiment empowerment for the journey of motherhood. So this is something I've been teaching for the last few years, but with the times that we're in, I'm turning it into an online course. So I'm really excited to share that as an online resource. And so check that out, or share it with those that are pregnant or mothers that are going through the motherhood incredibly empowering journey. Thank you so, so much. Wishing you the most wonderful summer solstice, new moon, and new moon eclipse. So thank you so, so much for joining me today. I wish you all the love and blessings and joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you.